So, welcome back to Overcommitted and Underqualified. Before we jump into our episode here today, we just want to thank everybody for following along with us so far for our first couple of episodes.
The engagement has been great.
Yes, it has been. And it's like really helping us to put ourselves out there more and more. Obviously, we have a lot of growth and work to do with all of this, and we've gotten some feedback, which we love. We see it ourselves too. But we're having a lot of fun with this. So we're super grateful for everybody who's been supporting us and spending a little bit of your day with us. If you are enjoying it, or even if you're not enjoying it, make sure to follow along, follow our Instagram, Overcommitted and Underqualified.
Like, comment, post, repost. It all helps.
Engage with us and subscribe on YouTube
For Apple or Spotify.
Yeah, we're on all the places you can listen to or watch podcasts. We're on all of those different platforms. So just give us some love, please.
Show a little love. We're trying to show love to y'all who are
Right?
making life mistakes at the same pace that we are.
We really do want to hear back from people too. Like, we'd love to engage and have you guys share with us as well. So give us some comments, peeps. We want to chat.
For sure.
Today's episode, we wanted to catch up on a couple things in life. Right now, we're just posting every other week. So a lot goes on in this 2-week period. And we wanted to share some of the listener feedback that we've gotten so far from some people, and then just talk about what makes us feel most alive. So let's catch up first. What do you think, Jaeger?
Yeah, let's catch up. I'm down.
So the other night I was at my parents' house with my sister, and she just got engaged to CJ. Congrats.
And CJ.
I know, they're amazing. And CJ's family watches our podcast religiously together and then talks about it, which is hilarious, and we appreciate that so much. They're wonderful. So my sister put it on for my mom and dad to watch, and we were all of us were crying at the part where you're sharing about buying a house and the whole rolling out everything that went into you buying a house. That was a great moment.
Funny you should say that. So I probably made the 2 biggest purchases that you can make in life within a 3-month span, which is perfect. That's totally fitting for me.
100%.
And I'm actually really proud about how this second purchase went.
What'd you buy?
So I got a new car.
Dude, congrats. How long did you have your last car for? It felt like 100 years.
It was 2016. It was a 2016, but I think I bought it in 15.
Dude, you didn't even have Apple CarPlay in it.
Dude, we'll get to that part. So I had been looking at cars, and I had been calling about a certain car, and they were like, yeah, it's not going to be we don't have any in for 4 months. They're on a 4-month delay. And I was like, well, I don't have 4 months. I need new tires.
We need immediate satisfaction, and we did not plan ahead for this, so we need it now.
But also my car was due for inspection, and I needed an oil change. So all these things needed to happen, and I'm I really only have until June 30th. So 4 months is not in my timeline. So my mom was just email Brian at Montgomeryville Acura. And I was this isn't a plug for them, but it is a good shine.
Plug in you.
It can be, because honestly, it was a great experience. And so I texted him, and I was listen, I'm either going to need an oil change, new tires, a car inspection, and a new windshield by June 30th, or a new car. And he was let me connect you to my brother who works in the sales.
Sounds like you just got to start fresh, my friend.
He was what are your qualifications? What do you need? And I was a 3-row SUV.
Why do you need 3 rows?
Well,
You have 2 kids, right?
I have 2 kids, and then 2 by common law adoption.
Which are mine too.
Which are your 2 kids.
We need 3 rows in our cars too, so support this family unit, me, you,
Yes.
and our 4 kids.
Because sometimes it is easier for us to just say that we're lesbians and in like a domestic relationship.
We get discounts on like gym
Like
memberships,
memberships are cheaper. Like, so like that is a thing.
which should count because
It's
you are my closest, longest,
healthiest,
healthiest relationship that I've ever had
100%.
since 3rd grade.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
Anywho,
Anyway, they were like, that's your qualifications. And I was like, yeah, and like a lighter interior. But I was like,
just everything. I can't stand it. Mine's
I was
black.
like,
I can't stand it.
other than that, I'm pretty open. So they were like, all right, just let us know. Have you ever driven one? And I was like, no, I've never driven one. So anyway, on Monday, I went to test drive one. And he was like, just text me before you come and I'll have it pulled up. I test drove it. And then the guy was like, do you have any questions? And it's like, no, I don't have any questions. I was making up questions like, what kind of gas mileage does it get?
You're like,
Like,
I don't.
what kind of gas do you put in the car? Like, just stupidest questions. Because I'm like, I don't actually have any questions. And then I was like getting in the car and they were like, oh, it has like Apple Play. And I was like, thank goodness, because my best friend keeps making fun of me that I don't have Apple Play in my car.
I mean, as the passenger in the front seat of your car, it's been years of suffering for me. Years.
Well, now you don't have to suffer anymore. But yeah. But they were like, okay, we're going to go test drive your Highlander. And I thought about getting the car detailed before I even took it in there. And they gave me a range of like what it would be. And I was like, I'm just going to wing it. So I like took all the big chunks out of the car. But I like told the guy, I was like, listen, there's enough snacks, crushed up snacks in that back to feed the starving children of Ethiopia. And he was like, I have 3 kids. And I was like, oh, so you'll be just at home. You'll feel it.
If you have kids and you don't have smashed goldfish in the rugs of and every crevasse of your vehicle, then you're not living.
A parent?
You're not living.
Yeah. You're not a parent at that point.
No.
So he was like, where are the keys? And I was like, I left them in there. I always play the dice of this if someone steals my car, you know?
Yes.
The insurance payout. So he went and test drove it while I test drove like the new car. I had 0 questions. I was literally making up questions. And then we came back, we did like the finances and they were like, so what's your timeline? And I was like, honestly, I need a car inspection. And he was like, I did see the sticker. And I was like, yeah, so like sooner rather than later. We like talked finances and then he was like, when do you want to pick the car up? And I was like, I don't have the deposit sitting in my bank account at the moment. And he was like, not many people do, but you can still leave with the car today. So again, they were going to sell me the car without actually making any payment.
Stop.
Yes.
How does this keep happening to you?
Because I look like a trustworthy person.
You do.
And I am. But I was like, listen, I'll give y'all some time.
You gave them time. You're like, I'll let you keep your car for a little bit. Dude, you walked away from purchasing a home. You purchased the home without payment.
No payment. No payment.
And then the same thing happened with a vehicle.
Yes. And the primary reason where I was like, no, I'll pick it up tomorrow is because like I didn't want to empty out the shit that was still in the car.
Yeah.
Like the car seat situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll just come back tomorrow and pick it up. But they were like, do you want to sign all the papers today? And then you just have to bring like a check tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, but can we go over the car insurance? Because like I've never actually bought a car by myself. And I was like, so how do I do that? And the guy was like, do you have an app? I was like, I'm sure I do. I think it's Allstate. Turns out it was Progressive. And he was like, you have 5 days since the purchase of the car to enter the new VIN number of the car. And then you just remove the other one. And he was like, but don't do that today. Like, don't. I was like, this is great.
Got it.
So then I like talked with the finance guy, but honestly, like the whole thing took like 2 hours. And then Tuesday I went and like picked the car up. It took like 15 minutes. It was so easy. And I will give them props of like, I have test drove and got my car like valued by other dealerships, by multiple dealerships. And both of them gave me half the trade-in value, and that was like 4 years ago. So Montgomeryville Acura gave me the highest trade-in value, which I appreciate because like I don't know what I'm doing. And so they didn't take
advantage of you.
Yeah, they didn't take advantage of me. Like they were just like they wanted to be a good service partner. And like I appreciate that. Like I feel valued and trusted by them.
Dude, that's amazing because the whole car buying process, like I think I would have purchased another one by now for sure if I didn't have to go through the car buying process. You were with me when we test drove the Expedition. I've been in sales my whole career, right? It's my passion. The psychology of people is my passion. Used car sales, guys. And this isn't for everyone. Not for everyone. Not knocking you all. But like the I don't know what the word is. What people think about when they think about salespeople is like a used car sales guy in like an old suit, just like not trustworthy, sleazy, slimy. And the experience started good with the Expedition, but then it was such a dog and pony show. I couldn't even handle it. Like walking back to the finance guy, like let me come back, let me see what I can do.
It was like such a show, and it felt like there was like 5 dudes standing around the finance guy in a glass cage, and they were just like it felt just like they were like shouting out numbers, like, can you give me this rate? That's the other thing is I searched for financing rates and a credit union gave me something, and Acura Montgomeryville gave me something that was way less, like a way better rate. And so I was like, the whole thing, I felt like I was like really handled. Like,
dude, when you like somebody and you trust somebody, you'll buy from them. When you feel like you're getting sold, you lose all trust. I feel like I just wanted to go in for weeks afterwards. I couldn't stop thinking about this car buying experience. I wanted to go in and be like, all right, let's talk about our sales skills here, guys. Do you remember we were sitting at the guy's desk and I'm like, I'm not gonna, like, there's no objection that you can overcome. There's nothing that's gonna get me over the line today. I was here to test drive it. I wanted to get some numbers. I'm not ready to pull the trigger today. But if you give me a good experience, I will buy from you happily. And I'm not even gonna like wheel and deal it a whole lot. I'll pay whatever most of the time because I don't want to go through. I want it to be easy, and I want to like you, and I want to trust you. And he was sitting there at the desk, and then you and I were sitting there, and I see this guy out of my peripheral walking by, and he's walking by, and then our sales guy looks at him and was like, oh, it's Mike, the sales manager. How's it going? I have Nicole.
Dude, that situation was so disgusting.
So weird. All of a sudden,
he got up and you and I were like, how did he even sit down? Like, I don't like, that was such a weird.
Our sales guy, he was pretending like he was just taking a stroll on by. The sales manager was pretending like he was just happened to be taking a stroll by us. And then all of a sudden stops, and our sales guy gets up from his seat, doesn't say anything, and Mike, the sales manager, slides on in to the seat, and I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah, it was such a weird transaction. Didn't I say something uncomfortable in the test drive?
Yes, because we show up there shopping together, so obviously people are like,
they think they were lesbians.
Look at these wives together. So we were like, our sales guy was actually funny when we were test driving, and he was asking questions and stuff, which was great. But yeah, then we had to like stop. There was no gas. There was no gas in it. Not our fault. But there was no gas in the car, so we had to stop. And we were telling some kind of story. Oh, I think we both said we're both divorced or something. And he asked a question, and he was like, he didn't know what to say if our exes or whatever.
But he didn't know how to refer to us.
Yeah. So I forget, what did you say? You said you just like blurted something out and it was like,
It was a moment, and I felt you were like, dude, don't say uncomfortable things.
which why would I say that? I love when you say uncomfortable things. It really breaks the ice. I think he had a lot of fun with us.
For sure.
I'd still probably buy from him. He was good enough, but it's just the process.
Sales manager and like going back to like the finance guy, the fact that the finance guy sits in like a glass cage is so weird.
Dude, they need
And he's like, let me see if I can do better. And it's like, no, come to me with your best offer. I'm not here to do this bullshit. Like, the longer this process takes, the more steps back that I'm taking.
yeah.
Like, come to me with your best offer. Like, I'm not here to do this negotiation. And I feel like maybe we should be like rolling in with like, the longer this process takes, the more steps I take back. And there's other dealerships and there's other house, like whatever the purchase is
Yeah.
just like, if we're going to go back and forth here on negotiating, like the longer this takes, the less motivated I am.
Yeah. You want like papers out of my glove box and then you want to like go to the copier and scan them and you want to get up and sit down. Like I don't have this attention span. If I walk in, I'm like, I like this car. I want this car. Be like, all right, here's what it costs. You want to buy it now? I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. That's how I like to buy.
That is, wait, I do want to talk about this because this is the growth that I've had from my house sale to my car purchase.
Uh-huh.
Is at the dealership on Monday, they were like, you didn't bring your car title? And I was like, I feel like that's not something you should keep in your car. And they were like, no, typically you keep it in a safe. And I was like, well, I don't have a safe. I know it's not in one of those. But I feel optimistic that I have my car title. And they're like, okay, like 3 separate people were like, the cost of getting a new car title is like XYZ. And I was like, okay, I feel good about it. But like, I could feel that they were like, we don't feel good that you have your car title.
They're like, this bitch does not have her car title.
Yes. So I like went home and I was like, car title and I need a check. I instantly found my car title.
Dude.
Was it in a safe? No. Was it like out on the open? Yes, but I found it.
Great job. Win.
Felt like a win. The check thing, they were like, you can just write a personal check. And in my head, I was like, yeah, that would work if I had a checkbook.
Who has checkbooks? Seriously.
Well, so I like called the Chase Bank and I was like, hey, I need to write a check for this amount. Can I just like walk in and y'all just like print me one? And they were like, yeah, you can come in. And I was like, how long will this take? Like, it should be like instant. And I was like, okay. So I go in and I'm like, she's like, okay, I need some form of identification. And accidentally, I whip out my passport card and she hands it back to me. And she goes, yeah, we can't use the passport card. She goes, I know, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, you can go to Canada with that. And she was like, I know, it doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, also, who has a checkbook? And she's like, I don't know, I work at a bank and I don't have a checkbook. And I was
Love
like,
this lady.
I love you and I'm so here for you.
Yes.
But I was like, luckily, I renewed my license.
You were prepared this time.
I felt so good.
You had a wallet.
I had a wallet with a valid driver's license.
Look at you. Growth.
Growth, my friends.
High five.
Growth. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, that's what life's all about. Growth.
Look at me growing and maturing as an adult.
You're just making me so proud.
Making myself proud.
As you should. As you should. That's fantastic.
But that car, the Highlander, was like the last piece of my divorce that I feel like he picked that car out.
Mm-hmm.
I picked the color. So I feel like it's like all strings have been detached minus our children, obviously.
That's awesome. Has to feel like fresh. Even buying a car. Yeah, of course we've owned cars and stuff like that. But whether it's our dads helping us when we were younger or
Our ex-husbands.
our ex-husbands.
Like, I remember John being, for the sale of the Highlander, I remember him being like, do you want to come? And I was like, no, I can't be bothered.
Yeah. I did buy all my own cars from my Cabrio that I got in college. I bought that car. And then I had a Honda Civic, and I worked for Enterprise, and I bought it from Enterprise. And then for a lot of years in Enterprise, I had a company car, so I didn't have to buy a car. And then my first car that I bought after that, my ex always helped with. It's such a terrible process.
I know, because
Yours was good.
yeah, mine was amazing. And I feel good about it.
Yeah.
William told me my new car was dope.
It is dope. I love that.
I was like, yeah, William.
Yeah, buddy.
But there's like strict rules in this one.
Wait, this is hilarious though. Wait, tell your strict rules, and then I have to tell you a really funny Auntie Beanie and William story. Don't let me forget.
Okay. There's no eating. You can only drink water. And whatever you walk in with, you walk out with.
And I respect the hell out of those rules. Let me tell you, I support them, I respect them, but how long are they going to last? Realistically.
TBD. TBD.
Really?
But Montgomeryville Acura did tell me, they were like, there's free car washes here, so you can just bring your car here and we'll just wash it for you. And I did get the whole thing, like front to back, interior, exterior warranty. Maybe I got oversold on that part, but like I'm okay with that because I know that the interior is just going to get destroyed, and probably the exterior. Like the guy sold me on the tires thing, and he was like, I was like, well, I'm a female driver, so like of course I'm going to need the tire insurance. And he was like, well, males blow out tires too, and I'm like, right, but like
sometimes those curbs just like pop up out of nowhere, you know?
They come out of nowhere and then you scuff the whole rim.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, of course I'm going to need that coverage, you know? But anyway, tell your William and Auntie Beanie story.
So when we were at my parents' house the other night, it was the day that they went to take your kid to work day with you, and you took my kids and your kids, which they had so much fun.
Overcommitted, but it was great experience.
Yeah. So I think it was like my sister, someone was like, what does Auntie Beanie do for work? And this is a joke between us because I've been your best friend since third grade, and you've had the same job since you've been out of college with the same company, and I still can't explain what you do for work. So I just tell everybody that you do spreadsheets all day long, and I think that it's close. But William goes, she's in real estate. And I was dying because I've never said that. And I think my sister was part of that conversation the one time of like explaining your friend's work.
Yes, and we recorded, everyone explained what they did, and then we like recorded everyone trying to reiterate it.
Yeah. And my sister was like, I don't know if that's true. And William was like, yes, it is true. She's in real estate.
No, it is. It is true. It is true.
So I was dying about that. I forgot to tell you that.
But we had like a group meeting, and they asked the kids, like, what do you think your parents do? And Brooks raised his hand, and you always just like hold your breath at like what that child is going to say. And he was like, my mommy works to buy a new car.
True.
But had zero idea. Lucy, I looked at Lucy and I was like, and she wasn't going to offer anything.
She's like, no.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to answer any of that.
Oh my gosh.
Are you looking at your notes?
Wait, I don't think I fully told you about this rabbit hole that I went down recently.
You tell.
So someone was like telling me a story about their last name, and it made me go down such this rabbit hole because my maiden name last name is Keech, and I've always known that.
My maiden name is. What is your fucking maiden name?
Listen, my brain and mouth don't come out so fast.
Spit it out.
My maiden last name is Keech, and Keech, it's from England, translates into a lump or lard of fat, which is hilarious. And
that's so funny.
I know, especially because everybody's always called me Keech. It's only been really recently in my life that people even call me Nicole, which sounded weird for even people to call me.
Can I start calling you like a lump of fat or a lump of lard?
Yeah, if you're welcome to call me whatever you want. Or you could just call me Keech, and that translates into that as well.
Yeah, but people won't know that. It'll be funnier in person if I just call you a, hey, lump of lard.
Yes, it will.
Like if I just shouted that out in public, you would most likely respond.
I'd be like, yeah, What do you need? What's up?
What can I get you?
That's me? What? Wait,
Lamar here.
so I went to ChatGPT and I'm looking up because I want to know more information about it. So I start looking up Keech. It brings me down this rabbit hole that I ended up staying up. This was a work night too. I ended up staying up until 1:30 in the morning. I went from ChatGPT over to Ancestry.com, have a full subscription there now. And like not just like a trial subscription. When they were like, the premium will give you X, Y, and Z. And I was like, yes, I need that. Dude, I went back. I traced the Keeches back to the 1800s. But I built a whole family tree that is it's so massive that I can't even look at it. I like tried to put it up on the TV to like look at it. You can't even look at it. I went all the way back to the 1800s. And like, I have a famous great great grandfather who has a book that he's in called Hex. And he was like a famous detective in York.
Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Like my dad's side of the family has been it's like Pennsylvania Dutch. And they've been in York, Pennsylvania for longer than I even knew America existed. And actually there was a lot of divorce too. So like that must run in the family. Like back when people weren't even getting divorced. Like Ralph Keech had 3 wives.
Ralph.
Yeah.
Do you think he went by Ralph or like do you think he had a nickname? Like Ralphie?
I don't know.
Well, I guess your next dog you should name Ralph.
That's a great idea.
Duh. Heard it here first.
I like that move.
Dude, Ralph is a great name for a dog. But let's get back to your family tree. But
I mean,
now we've established the name of your next dog. We can get back to that.
I mean that's really the gist of it.
Now I kind of want to do that.
You should start with ChatGPT because it tells you a lot. Like it gives you a lot of information. But then go to Ancestry and it pulls like US Census stuff from the 1900s. It finds death certificates, it finds birth certificates, marriage certificates, and it like links people, and then you can start like building this tree. It's wild.
Yeah, but like I know that my dad's parents, so like my grandma and grandpa, and I've never met my grandpa on my dad's side. I know that they were fresh off the boat.
So we're my mom's side of the family, all of so my grandparents, both of their parents were fresh off the boat from Ireland. But
No, my grandparents were fresh off the boat.
But I'm telling you, even mine was a generation back, and there's still data on them and their family over in Ireland.
Okay. Like my dad's parents were so German. Like she made on Easter. It tasted like chicken.
Ew. That reminds me of
Like that's like a German thing.
Ew. That
Like,
reminds me of Dead Ed.
But my last name, I don't know what the actual translation is, but like Jaeger translates into like hunter, I think. Then there's like some connection to deer blood, but I think that's because deer blood used to be in Jägermeister.
Right.
Obviously, they don't serve it that way in the United States or now, but
The surname Jaeger is German and literally means hunter. Few interesting facts. German-speaking regions, especially modern-day Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, occupational surname similar to English names like Hunter, Fisher, Smith. It was originally given to someone who hunted game, managed hunting lands, or worked for a noble estate.
better than a lumpy fat.
It's a fairly common German surname and is found throughout Pennsylvania due to the large number of German immigrants who settled there in 1700s and 1800s. Wait, since you're in Pennsylvania, there's a decent chance the Jaeger family line arrived through the same broader wave of German immigration that brought many Pennsylvania Dutch families to the region. I'm Pennsylvania Dutch too. Did we know that we have like this similarity? I don't think we did.
I'm here for it. But also, there is, like, when they came over in immigration, I know that there are some Jaegers so the German J is pronounced as, like, a Y in the English language. And so some people spell Jaeger Ieager. In German, it's a J, so, like, the right way is, like, if you look at a bottle of Jägermeister, it says Jaeger, and I forget what they're called, the 2 dots over the A signifies like the AE sound.
Yep.
So like mine was converted the right way, but I guess there's no wrong way because there is like a Yeager, Jaeger. So like
I mean, shout out to all the Y Jaegers, but I
I'm
think
here for the J's.
I'm here for the J's. Jaeger is my jam.
You just said it wrong.
Purposefully, bruh.
But I do remember like when I would go to like anywhere, they'd be like, "What's your last name?" And I would mispronounce it so that they would, because if you said like Jaeger,
They do a Y.
they would go to the Y's, and I'd be like, "No, you have to go to the J's." So I would mispronounce it and be like Jaeger, so that they would go to the right section.
Yes, so that was super interesting and fun, and I recommend that you do that.
That's a great journey. I'm gonna take that journey maybe this weekend.
Yeah. I mean, like I was like, "Oh my God, it's 1:30 and I'm back in the 1800s right now. I got to go to work tomorrow." And wait, here's what's funny too. And I swear, and I thought it was just me, but when I was with my family the other night, I was telling them this story too, and my sister said the same thing. So I swear to you, my dad always told us when we were growing up that his dad grew up in an orphanage and he didn't know who his dad's family was. So I'm doing this and I'm like, there's more information on his dad's family than any of the other grandparents that I can find.
Yeah, so maybe your mom was the orphan.
No. Well, no, she wasn't either. So my dad was like, "No, that's not true." And I was like,
Wait,
"No."
your dad has been lying to you for 40 years?
And then my sister was like, "Wait, I've literally told everybody in my life that my pappy grew up in an orphanage and we didn't know other than the last name and we could trace it back to English lard of fat. That's all we ever knew about our history." And like I've lived my life that way and so has she. And none of that was true.
Dude, Blake is the best. Blake think we're just cracking the shell at the lies, at the childhood lies that Blake has told you that you're uncovering. And I'm also kind of here for that because I have told my children straight up lies that I'm like, I can't wait for them to uncover the truth about them.
I just picture Blake back in the day. You know how kids always ask, "But why? But this?" We're probably like asking about his family history and he's like, I don't know. He was an orphan.
Like, and it probably was just like a quick answer one time that he was like, I'm just going to live with it. But like, I told Lucy one time, I told her when she was in the bathtub, I was like, if you drink tub water, your hands will fall off.
Why did you tell her that?
Because I didn't want her to drink tub water.
Okay, I get it.
And it, like, you're like, at the end of the night, you're like, you got nothing left, and you just like reach for an extreme, right? So like,
You have an empty threat.
yeah, reached for an extreme, right? And she literally, I remember when I told her, she literally looked at me and she like looked at her hands and then she sadly looked up at me and then she went, and honest to God, never drank tub water after that. She came to me in tears one day and she was like, Brooksy drank tub water and so his hands are going to fall off. And I was like, well, how much did he drink? Because that depends on like what falls off.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to then expand upon the lie, you know? But like there are lies that we tell our children. Okay. Your hands will fall off if you drink tub water, okay?
That's a good one. So I just went down just to get a cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee.
Which this is, there's nothing like a good coffee mug. Keeks gave this to me one time. I freaking love you. And like every time I drink my coffee out of it, it brings me so much joy.
I actually think a coffee mug it should be our first piece of merch.
I'm totally down with that. What do you think it should say?
Spicy as shit.
Love it.
Which, can we talk about how this wasn't on the agenda, but I'm going to put it out there.
It's okay.
When I first sent you the t-shirt, spicy as shit, you were like, ooh, I don't know that people are going to want to wear a shirt that says a curse word, shit. And I even put like an exclamation point as like the I in shit. And then you had the audacity to to send me a t-shirt that had the word fuck in it.
Disgusting.
Yeah. But it was like I'm confused. Do you want our merch to have curses? Or do you not want our merch to have curses?
Dude, you think you're confused? Try living in my brain.
Yeah. I mean, you're a confusing individual.
I know. I know.
But I think spicy as shit on a coffee mug is a great start for merch. Just because
Listen, I take back
I talked to
what
our
I
merch.
said. I take back what I said. I'm reversing. I am giving you the Uno card. Reverse. Reverse.
You never do this. This is a rare occurrence. Moment in history.
I I want this to be on camera for everybody to witness, for all y'all who told me I never admit when I'm wrong. I can never admit when I'm wrong. You're always right, Nicole. Most of the time I am, okay? Right now I'm wrong. I was wrong. I, Nicole Keech, do solemnly swear that I was wrong and Jaeger was right. Spicy as shit, SAS, on a t
Fuck
shirt is great merch. Great merch.
yeah. Because I talked to our merch guy and he was like, mugs are super easy because they're one size fit all. T-shirts, you have to buy like multiple sizes and you almost have to do like a pre-order.
Order the t shirts, but we're gonna just cut them. We cut all of our t shirts with scissors just because, like, that's what we do. That's who we are. And we like it.
Well, that will be an added fee.
True.
A personalized yours truly.
Yeah.
And we're pretty good at them. Sometimes we cut them too short. And
Yes.
you put them through the washer
Yeah.
and it becomes just a nighttime shirt because your tits will come out.
Yeah. It's like a nighttime shirt, or like you only wear it with a bathing suit because,
Yeah, or like you only wear it when you're like, I'm gonna house clean and there's
yeah.
no one else here.
Yeah.
Because like if one tit comes out, it's okay.
Or like you want to hang out with your boo and
Yeah,
you want that to happen.
you know.
All right. So,
But sometimes most of the times we cut them really good. I don't want to short sell ourselves here.
no, 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 we will. And if you're like, this is way too short, first we're going to be like, let us decide that for you. Because you might just be a little self-conscious of yourself.
Or you're overcommitting. But either way, it like at the end, like sometimes it really works out.
Yeah. So I also think we need a shirt that says fucking youth sports. And parents of youth sports, do I need to say any more than fucking youth sports?
No, don't get me fucking started. I've already had conversations with my therapist about fall sports and it's fucking June.
I'm so mad. Also, Blake said, what are two pretty girls like you doing dropping the F bomb so much? I liked the podcast, but you girls are too classy to be dropping the F bomb. I'm like, we're not that classy, Dad. Okay? And that
That's
comes from me.
so hilarious that's so hilarious coming from a man who drinks Rumplemint on ice.
With a side of land shark?
Yes. Well, land shark, land shark. I feel like land shark. I feel like land shark's pretty classy, but the rumplements is where he
It is,
gets.
but it's a hilarious combination. That's
No,
what he gets when he goes to the bar to like watch sports with his friends. He orders a land shark and a shot of Ruppelmans. He doesn't take shots though. He just sips on it and he sips on them together. Like, what kind of combination is that?
it's Blake's combo.
I remember one time he.
Diabetes and a beer.
I remember one time. This was like a long time ago, and we had like a neighborhood park. I forget what it was, but he got two kegs, and one was like Bud Light and one was Yingling, and he would mix them together. He'd do half and half. And he thinks it's normal. It's Blake's going Blake.
Blake's gonna Blake.
I am who I am because of you. It's your fault. Okay?
And like, part of me wishes that my dad was still alive because I think, well, a lot of, like, obviously, I wish
Yeah.
my dad was still
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah.
But I think my dad and Blake would have really gotten along.
100%. They're just two types of guys who are simple guys and just like good human beings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And also,
They just like hate everyone else. Like, they have very few friends. They're like very selective because they're just like inappropriate. And
Blake
like,
actually has a good crew of friends, but he doesn't like to leave the house ever, which makes
my
it
dad
hard.
didn't like to leave the house
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Um, but I,
They also were like quiet. Like they'd probably sit there together on the couch and have golf or whatever on and not talk the whole time and just make a couple random random like crude or dad jokes and they'd giggle and that would be it.
right. I- yes. My dad was just like the king of inappropriate jokes. Like, you wonder where I get it from. And it's just 'cause, like, my dad just like didn't care about the audience that was in front of him. Like, he was going to make the joke.
Mm-hmm. He was just that's what I appreciate out of Rich Jaeger and Blake Keech, both of them, is they show up who they are. And like I look up to that.
Exactly. Like, I learned how to give the middle finger from my dad. But I
People like
also,
that too, you can tell have like been through some stuff in life. And I feel like that's kind of connects to where you and I are in our lives too. Like sometimes when you've been through some stuff in your life, your your worldview or your perspective on life and your perspective on like what matters and what's important and what's a big deal totally changes
yes,
for the better most of the time.
100%. And my dad definitely went through like all of those things. Like, he went through some stuff. But I also feel like he taught me the importance of just like listening, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my biggest life regrets is just like not communicating how I felt about him. And
What do
I
you mean?
also didn't, like, he was my best friend. Like, he was a great confidant for me.
He was.
And I honestly didn't realize it until it wasn't there. And so people that like still have both their parents there,
One, two,
I'm
three,
envious
four.
of that, you know, because and like my mom is a best friend. Like I tell her everything
Hmm.
and I love her and she is so supportive of me. And
She's amazing.
honestly, both my brothers are too.
Yeah, you have a great family.
But sometimes you don't realize what you have until you lose it. And like that part sucks. And like the time of my life that I lost my dad also fucking sucks because it was like I was in this, I don't know, I feel like I was in this selfish part of my life because it was like my dad was super sick, but no one really knew. But then I got married, and then like over my honeymoon, we like basically found out. So it's like I came back from my honeymoon and found out that my dad was basically dying.
Ugh.
We're completely off topic.
No, there is no on topic, first of all. And number one, I want to like applaud you for being brave enough to share this. I have been through this journey with you, and just that in itself is so much growth for you, Christina. You wouldn't talk about it for the longest time, and you wouldn't let the emotion show for the longest time. And dude, you wouldn't even you wouldn't watch your wedding video. Have you ever watched your wedding video?
No.
And you wouldn't because your dad was really sick at that time and you didn't want to see him like that. And I think in a lot of areas, and I'm not saying this to pick you apart, like we this is what's so like amazing and beautiful about our friendship is I love you more than anything in the world, and I know you love me more than anything in the world, and we can be open and honest with each other, and our foundation is so strong it will never break. And you have it's been a strength and a weakness of you too is not sharing what's inside of you because you've held it to try to take care of it all on your own for so long, and to be strong and to be brave. And the fact that you have like done so much work on yourself, that you talk to your therapist about this, that you share all of this, like you would have never done this or even shared this about your dad even a year ago.
Probably not.
So
That's
good night. I just want to applaud you for doing that because I can't imagine what it feels like to lose one of my parents. And I knew your dad, and he was like a really special man. And your relationship with him, like you and I always were up to no good in one way or another. Always. We're always scheming this, that, and the other. But I remember times where you would call home and you'd talk to your dad and you'd like ask your dad and you'd have a conversation with him. And that is when that was your boundary, and that's when you would draw the line. Like I remember you being like, no, Keech, like I don't want to disappoint my dad. And to be that type of parent and to have that kind of relationship to where your kid makes the right decisions in life because of like the love and connection that you guys have. How impactful is that? That is, you made it as a parent. Like, that's, you did a
Honestly,
good
like
job.
that's what I'm like striving for as a parent. And I feel like it's like a really high bar. And to be honest, I've like talked to my mom about this. Like, he wasn't sure if he wanted to be a parent, which is like wild to me. And like, my mom is amazing.
She is.
Like, I love her. She is my best friend. I tell her way more than she should know.
Mama Debs. She always has been. She's always
Yeah.
been our girl.
And she's been a great support system to you too. Um,
Unbelievable.
but like my dad was like unsure that he wanted to have kids because both my parents were divorced before they got married. Um, and he was like, I don't know if I want to have kids. But then he had kids and he was like so committed and he was such a great dad.
Yeah.
And honestly, like some people have really shitty dads and they live really long. And so I should be grateful that I had like such a great dad, even though he didn't live as long as. This is my silver line.
Here she goes. Silver lining Sally.
This is my silver line.
Uh-huh.
Like I should be grateful, and I am grateful that I at least had him for the time that I did. You know?
And both can be true. You can be grateful and you can have a positive perspective on it. And you can also say, like, this wasn't fair. And I mean, I can only imagine that there's just a huge chunk of your heart and your soul that will hurt forever and will never, sure, like they say time heals everything, but like time doesn't heal everything. It's
No,
still,
grief like changes, right? Like it, and you can grieve things that are still alive, right? Like you can grieve relationships and you can grieve people that are still alive and those things.
mm-hmm.
But like grief can take on and grief can look like very, very different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like I'm still grieving people that are alive,
Same.
that used to be part of my life that aren't part of my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's easier. Like
I was
grieving someone.
literally just thinking that. I was literally just thinking that in my head, like contemplating that same thing.
Yeah, because it's like, is it easier grieving someone that is no longer here that you can't connect with, or is it easier grieving someone that is alive that you could still pretend like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Because like you can't fix anything with someone that's passed away that's not here, right?
Yeah, but in some instances you can't with, and I think about like, and I think down the line we'll get into even more like in depth into like what makes us who we are. Like we're silly and we're raunchy sometimes and we're emotional sometimes and we're, but like we both do have depth and we both have stories and we are who we are today because of some stories. And I think about like I don't know, I think about there's like some really impactful grief moments and like losing people for sure. Like losing my I mean all of my grandparents, but like I had a really, really special relationship with my mom's mom. And like like I she's been gone since 2007, I think, and I still like she had such an impact on me. My aunt Sandy, my dad's sister, who passed away really young. Like people who have had these like lasting impacts on your life is grief that you carry forever and it never goes away. Um, but then I think about William and his birth story. Um, and I think about my marriage. Like, I am still, it's been like 3.5 years. I feel like I've been saying 3.5 for like a year now. So it might be longer. I don't even know.
I
But
think like 4. I think we can go to 4.
round it up to 4. And I believe, I believe it was the right decision for both of us to not be married, but I still grieve. Like,
What you grieve what you thought you got into.
yeah,
And that's a part of like divorce that people don't understand is that like I didn't and you didn't get married thinking that our lives would end up this way. And so like there is a part of it of just like you build this whole like empire. And then there's a part that's just like it's not fair. And you're like you feel like you're rebuilding. And you are, and but like you're rebuilding something that's better and healthier. But that doesn't mean that it's an easy transition. That doesn't mean that you go from like A to C and it's like a an Excella train ride. Like it's a fucking roller coaster from A to C and then you have to go to D and like it the whole thing is a roller coaster, but I I do want to circle back to like William's first story if you're okay with it.
for sure. I I've always been like I feel like almost too open and too sharing with some things, but I wouldn't take any of that back either, because it's what's helped support me and hold me up. That's what's helped me get through what I've gone through with William is talking about it. Of course, the people who are close to me, but also just to like to anyone because I am a different human being today than I have been in my life. When William was born and my journey raising him is a pivotal moment to who the core of me is and what matters to me. So happy to share. Um,
Do you want to take
so
a minute and get like a box of tissues?
sure. Yeah. I think I'll be able to get through it, but I think that's a good idea.